Another year, another iPhone, except this time there are 3 of them. The iPhone 8 is the first out of the gate, but it's overshadowed by the iPhone X looming in the wings, and while there are some new elements, a glass back, you could be forgiven for feeling a bit of déjà vu. Placing all the recent iPhones side by side, from 2014's iPhone 6, to 2015's iPhone 6s and 2016's iPhone 7 and onto the 8, it's clear very little has changed on the outside. 2014 design: the iPhone 6 on the left, iPhone 7 in the middle and the new iPhone 8 on the right. Photograph: Samuel Gibbs for The Guardian. The iPhone 8 is fractions of a millimeter larger in every direction than the iPhone 7. It's also 10 grams heavier than the iPhone 7, 5 grams heavier than the iPhone 6s and 19 grams heavier than the iPhone 6. Some will tell you that you can notice the difference, but that it's a good weight. You can't, and it doesn't matter. Because of its 2014 design, the iPhone 8 looks and feels outdated compared to sleeker, more modern rivals, despite still being immaculately made. The large bezels top, bottom and at the sides make the iPhone 8 look almost retro, and not in a good way. The back of the iPhone 8 is glass, which inevitably makes it more fragile, but to what degree remains to be seen. In terms of the device's feel, the glass is a double-edged sword. It's less slippery in the hand than the metal of the iPhone 7, but I found it slipping off sofas, desks and other not cute level objects more easily. You'll probably want to buy a case. The screen looks great for an LCD and now has Apple's True Tone system from the iPad Pro, which alters the colors of the display based on the ambient light. Samsung and competitors have had similar systems on their smartphones for years, and it makes the screen more attractive but sacrifices color accuracy. Specifications: screen 4.7 inches LCD 1334 by 750,326 pixels per inch. Processor: Apple A11 Bionic. RAM: 2 GB of RAM. Storage: 64,256 GB. Operating system: iOS 11. Camera: 12 MP rear camera, 7 MP front-facing camera. Connectivity: LTE, Wi-Fi AC, NFC, Bluetooth 5, Lightning and GPS. Dimensions: 138.4 by 67.3 by 7.3 mm. Weight: 148 grams. Improved battery life: the iPhone 7 on the left, the iPhone 8 on the right, or as it photographs Samuel Gibbs for The Guardian, the iPhone 8 has Apple's latest and best processor. The 6-core A11 Bionic has 2 high-performance cores and 4 power-efficient cores and is apparently the most powerful so far because it can use a combination of all 6 at once. Performance was excellent, but I struggled to see a real difference in day-to-day speed compared to the iPhone 7. But what I'm very pleased to be able to report is that Apple has finally improved battery life for the 4.7 inches iPhone. We're not talking a quad-A battery here, but the iPhone 8 lasted just over 26 hours. Setting off at 7 a.m. in the morning, the phone would make it all the way through to around 9 a.m. the next morning without needing to be charged. That was while using it as my primary device and receiving hundreds of push notifications, taking 10 or so photos, watching a 45-minute burst of Netflix, making a short phone call, playing a quick game and listening to around 5 hours of Spotify with Bluetooth earbuds. It was such a difference to the poor, 14-hour battery life of the iPhone 7 that I retested an admittedly year-old iPhone 7 with iOS 11 to see if the new software was responsible. EWASNT, the iPhone 7 still doesn't last until bedtime under the same conditions. Anecdotally, I saw significantly better battery life on a cellular connection, with my hour-plus train journey in the morning consuming just 10% of the iPhone 8s battery compared to 25% of the iPhone 7s battery. If, like me, you spend a reasonable amount of the day actively using a smartphone on a 4G connection rather than Wi-Fi, then I suspect you will see similar results. It's worth noting that almost all of the iPhone's rivals last longer between charges, and that while the iPhone the 8th of May last at least 24 hours when new, 2 years down the road it might be a different story as the battery starts to lose capacity. The iPhone 8 can fast charge via the Lightning port, but only if you use a USB-C powered delivery charger. Photograph: Samuel Gibbs for The Guardian. When the battery is dead, the iPhone 8 will charge much faster using a USB-C charger with power delivery, such as those used for the Google Pixel or USB-C charged laptops and tablets. Unfortunately, neither the required USB-C to Lightning cable nor a fast charger comes in the box. The big new feature for the iPhone 8 is wireless charging, something rivals have supported for 5 years. It works great, particularly using furniture with built-in wireless charging pads. You simply plonk it down on the spot and it starts to charge. I think it should be built into everything, so it's good to see Apple finally get on board. iOS 11 Control Center on the iPhone 8. Photograph Samuel Gibbs for The Guardian. Not a vast amount has changed within iOS 11 compared to last year's iOS 10, and most of the meaningful things are confined to the iPad. For the iPhone 8 and iPhone 6, 6S and 7 with an update, there's the new Control Center, which doesn't actually turn off Wi-Fi or Bluetooth when you think it might, but works well for what it's meant to be able to do. You still cannot get from Control Center directly into the Settings app, an oversight that continues to baffle me, but you can customize a few things such as whether the flashlight toggle or low power mode switch is visible. There's a new optional setup routine for migrating from one iPhone to the next, if they're both running iOS 11. Put them close by, they find each other via Bluetooth and then take a photo of the screen of one with the other. You're prompted to run a backup on the old phone to then transfer it to the new phone. It works well as long as you have good Wi-Fi, but you still have to input passwords for your non-Apple accounts. Overall, iOS 11 is pretty much the same iOS that we've seen for a few years, with a few small improvements here and there. Camera. The camera on the iPhone 8 is excellent. Photograph Samuel Gibbs for The Guardian. The iPhone 8 has an improved 12-megapixel camera on the back, which has a physically larger sensor and now has optical image stabilization (OIS), a feature previously reserved for the Plus variants of recent iPhones. Overall, this is certainly the best camera fitted to a 4.7 inches iPhone to date. OIS helps greatly with blur in the event of shaking hands or dim lighting, and the larger sensor consistently picked up more light for better low-light photos. Good lighting produced some brilliantly detailed and colored photos. The HDR mode is now on by default, and I got markedly better results with the iPhone 8 than I did the iPhone 7. If you're upgrading from the iPhone 6S or earlier, you should be able to notice even off-the-cuff photos looking better. The iPhone 8 easily has one of the best cameras on the market. I still get more consistently brilliant images from Google's HDR system on the Pixel, but it is very close. The 7-megapixel selfie camera is one of the best I've tested to date, preserving more skin detail than most rivals. While I like rich detail in my selfies, some might not find the iPhone 8 as flattering as they might want, but you can always soften details after the fact. Also worth mentioning is the excellent 240 FPS slow-motion video, which is now captured at 1080p, resulting in markedly crisper videos, particularly when shot up close to an object. Observations. One of the new wallpapers within iOS. Photograph Samuel Gibbs for The Guardian. The stereo speakers are meant to be louder, but I couldn't really tell. I suspect the kids at the back of the bus will love it. iOS 11 increased the size of some fonts used for marking out certain things, such as the inbox label at the top of the screen and mail above the search bar. On the iPhone 8 it takes up quite a bit of space unnecessarily and is clearly designed to cater for the iPhone XS notch. The iPhone 8 is water resistant, but there's still no headphone jack. The glass back is a fingerprint magnet. The iPhone 8s battery dropped by 15% while dormant for 8 hours overnight. Price. The iPhone 8 costs £699 with 64 GB of storage, or £849 with 256 GB of storage, and comes in 3 colors: silver, gold and black space gray. For comparison, that's £100 more for the cheapest version of the iPhone 8 than last year's iPhone 7, but the iPhone 8 comes with twice the storage. The Samsung Galaxy S8 with 64 GB of storage costs under £540, and LG's G6 with 32 GB of storage costs under £430. Google's £599 Pixel is about to be replaced. Verdict. The iPhone 8 is the best iPhone released to date because it has much better battery life, an improved camera and wireless charging, but it's inherently boring. It has glass on the back, sure, but even without sticking it in a case it's difficult to tell for the casual observer. So what you're buying for your not inconsiderable £699 or more is a 2014 design with the guts of a more modern smartphone. Some will tell you that's fine, that it's meant to be boring, that it's still an iPhone. But I think if you're spending £700 you can and should expect more than that. There are plenty of equally boring smartphones that cost under £200 and some brilliant ones costing around £500. The problem is that if you're an iPhone buyer looking for the latest Apple smartphone, you probably won't consider the notion of buying elsewhere, which leaves you stuck Do you A, stick with the phone you've got, which is a good option if it's still going strong. B, buy a £700 phone and live with the fact that it's less exciting than a new paint job. C, buy an iPhone 8 Plus just for a change. D, wait till November and take a punt on the even more expensive £999 iPhone X, but just keep telling yourself at least this year's 4.7 inches iPhone lasts a good day on a single charge. Pros: 24-hour plus battery, great camera, wireless charging, fingerprint scanner, water-resistant. Cons: 2014 design, boring, large bezels around the screen, no headphone jack, no fast charger in the box, expensive. A review of the iPhone 8 Plus will be published the 2nd of October. Other reviews.